Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is Dash the True Inferno, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, and I'm about to get my Stephen A. Smith on in this topic during this Modern Warfare 3 commentary video right here. And I want to talk about the NBA. This is something I've been neglected to do for a couple of weeks now because the finals ended last month. So I'm like, okay, I gotta talk about that real quick because I made predictions that the Heat will win it all. I made this prediction before last season started. I made it before the playoffs started, as you all seen. And I made it before the finals started, also, as you all seen. And even though I was cheering for the Spurs to win it all because I figured, with the rest starting to become stacked again, this may be the Spurs' last shot at winning the championship. I still felt like that the Heat was going to win, and I predicted that the Heat was going to win, and I got that prediction correct. Now, my thoughts on the NBA Finals, it was a very good Finals. This was more in the case, though, of the Spurs losing it rather than the Heat won it, because the Spurs had it in Game 6. Now, even though the Heat tied it up in forced overtime, the Spurs still could have won it in overtime, and they still could have won it in Game 6. So this was more in the line of 60 to 65% the Spurs lost it, and 40 to 35% of the Heat actually winning it. Alright, well, enough about that. Now let's talk about free agency. What's been going on after the playoffs have finally ended? Well, the number one story so far is Dwight Howard leaving the Lakers and going to Houston. Now, I actually think or thought, since the deal has been done, or it should have been done today actually, since today is the day where people can sign anybody or whatever. I actually thought that this was the correct move for Dwight because he have a better chance of winning the championship there. But the thing that gets me about this move is there's some cats like Shaquille O'Neal who actually came out the blue and said this was a quote-unquote safe move. And I'm like, a safe move? Like, how is this a safe move? And I just thought that this was the dumbest thing I ever heard in regards to the NBA. Free agency, that is. A safe move. Like, what do you mean this is a safe move? Like, I don't get it. Let's compare the two teams. With Houston, you have James Harden, who some people are already calling the new Kobe Bryant. The whole entire Houston squad is younger. They put OKC to the brink of elimination, even though OKC did not have Russell Westbrook because of injury. Whereas the Lakers got swept by the Spurs in the first round, despite the fact the Lakers did not have Kobe Bryant or Steve Nash, if memory serves me correctly. But the bottom line is this, like, it's stupid to say, oh, he made a safe move. Like what? You expect him to make the difficult move and struggle with a aging Lakers squad just so he could be the man of LA? No. No. Because besides in LA, he's not going to win a championship there. The coach don't know what he's doing when it comes to defense. The coach don't know what he's doing in regards to the right. The owner don't know what he's doing because of his ego. And it's not a perfect fit. Like, who would want to be a part of that? Like, I don't blame the right for leaving. Whereas with Houston, and Shaq calls it a small city, a small market city. I'm like, actually, last I checked, Houston was the 4th largest city in the United States, for starters. Then you playing again with James Harden, who is, that's a future, even though he's not a future Hall of Famer. He is a not a future Hall of Famer. I mean, he is a all-star. That's what I'm trying to say. He's an all-star. The team gonna go far because they got a bunch of shooters, and it's kind of like that Orlando field when they went to the finals that one time. And their head coach is Kevin McHale, even though this would be his first time coaching, but he is one of the greatest power forwards in the game. And he could possibly get some private training from Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, one of the greatest centers of all time. What's wrong with that picture? Like, what's wrong with that picture? How is that picture considered quote-unquote safe? Like, that's stupid. That makes no sense to me. And because free agency is not over yet, they can still go out and get some more players. Another big name. Now, who? I had no clue. There was talk of bringing Josh Smith to Houston to play alongside with Dwight Howard. Now, the one factor in this move is what's his name? Omar Zeke, how you say his last name? He wants to be traded out because the concern there is he gonna be coming off the bench, whereas last season, all 82 games, he started. In the playoffs, he started, and he's a true center. So with the right there, the fear, the concern that he has is, and that other people has is, Omar is gonna be coming off the bench. He don't want to come off the bench, therefore he wants to be traded. And, I don't blame him because he started last year. He had a very good year last year. And I can understand him for wanting to be traded because he gonna be coming off the bench. I don't see what's wrong with him playing power forward unless they have a very established power forward already, and I don't think so. But nevertheless, Houston say they are not going to trade him, so it's going to be interesting to see how that shapes itself up. And speaking of Josh Smith, I'm gonna turn our attention to the second biggest free agency move that happened this year, and that's Josh Smith coming to my city of Detroit. Yes, that's right. Josh Smith will be a Detroit Piston. Now, there's some concerns with this move because even though Josh Smith can play the small forward position, he is more of a power forward. And the thing in Detroit is you have Greg Monroe, who either he is an all-star or he will be an all-star. I forgot which one he is. I think he went to the all-star game once already. I want to say he did, but I'm not 100% sure. And then you got a stud in the making, and Andre Drummond. He going to be entering his second year, this fall. And, his rookie year, he was coming off the bench. This time around, and he was balling until he got injured. This time around, I feel like he should be starting as power forward. So the problem is, what about Josh Smith? Good well he's not coming off the bench. Not because he don't want to come off the bench, but he shouldn't be coming off the bench at this stage of his career. So it's like either Andre Drummond is going to be coming off the bench still, which I would not like because I feel like he should be starting, or they move Josh Smith at the small forward position, which I also don't like because he's more of a power forward. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this team shape up. And they also signed, speaking of power forwards, they also signed some dude from overseas. He was the the Italian League MVP, who happens to be a power forward. They just signed him, and they're going to bring him over here. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mo Cheeks, the new coach, handles all of that. And I look at this squad as a playoff contender. Yes, I actually see this Pistons squad with the rated lineup set up right now as a playoff squad. And free agency not over yet because I think they got 2 expiring contracts that's going to go into their last year, referring to Rodney Stuckey and Charlie B. And they can trade both of them for whoever or still sign somebody else. So, hey, let's look at the East because another big move that happened is that big trade involving Boston and the Brooklyn Nets. So, KG and Paul Pierce are no longer at Celtics. They are now part of the Brooklyn Nets, playing alongside with Darren Williams and Brook Lopez and Joe Johnson. And I'm like, damn. So now this team is looking like they could challenge the Heat alongside with the Pacers and maybe the Bulls, who knows. So here's how I see my East stacking up. The East look like Miami number 1, and then you can make a case for either Indiana or Brooklyn to be number 2. Those are number 2, number 3 right there. The Bulls could be number 4. If not them, then the Knicks. So those the 4 and 5 right there. The Knicks lost a shooter to Indiana, so that's gonna hurt the Knicks, but that will help the Pacers more. So now 6 through 8 is a free fall because Boston's going backwards, Atlanta going backwards despite signing Paul Millsap, and even though the Bucks got OJ Mayo, you can say okay they're gonna get a spot. So, that's, they could be number 6, 7, 8, who knows. And I felt like, okay, Detroit's right there. With Josh Smith in their lineup, and Andre Drummond's getting better, Greg Monroe getting better. They signed Pope as their shooting guard, and Brandon Knight should be their point guard. That's a playoff squad. That's a playoff squad right there. Now, let's turn my attention back to the rest with the whole Dwight Howard scenario. How do I see the rest shaping up? I still got the Spurs number 1 because they signed a good shooter as well. And their nuclears are not going anywhere. OKC, they lost Kevin Martin, so that's going to hurt them. And there's going to be some question marks regarding Russell Westbrook. about his injury. You know, we don't know is he going to be healthy or not. So are they a number 2 seed, number 3 seed, maybe number 4 seed? The Clippers getting better because they brought in 2 3-point shooters and Doc Rivers, their coach. So they getting better. CP3's coming back. And then at number 4, you got Memphis maybe, even though they haven't made any moves, but they did go to the conference finals last year. So then you look at Houston, you know, with the right there. But again, free agency is not over. And then you got Golden State, who lost Jared Jack and another key guy, but they brought in Andre Iguodala from Denver. So that's a big move. So how I see, I got the Spurs number 1, Clippers number 2, OKC number 3, Houston number 4, Memphis number 5, and Golden State number 6. I don't see Golden State moving up, but I see them staying at that same spot, but they can be challenging. Well, this is Dash the Tru Inferno. Peace out, and don't forget to vote.
It's so crazy. My life is getting crazy, and I just can't seem to get it right. I think it's going down, and my life is getting crazy, and I just can't seem to get it right. I think it's going down, and my life is crazy, girl. I don't know what to do. I stay up late at night, and I'm thinking of you. I can't get you out of my head as I lay in a toss of the track.
Cold King Productions.
Get to wrecking Baraka blades on my weapons, giving niggas chills like Sub-Zero's presence, murdering you peasants. I get it poppin', you heard of that? Tearing you apart with my mind. Ermac, get over here, Scorpion's catchphrase. I hate to tell you, but these are your last days. And well, sorry, I'm not sorry. Fatality when a rip is found from your body. Flawless, I suffer no sorrow, cause I got harder kicks than Motaro. This is my spot. Who you brought? Kratos, I ball shine and roll up on foes like Kano.